This is the Cubs Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Mike is muted. Welcome into the Locked On Cubs Postcast here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Joe George here with you on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio. And the Cubs lose 8-7 to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers will climb to within 2.5 games of the division. There is a lot to talk about on the show today. The pitching, Jameson Taillon, bad. The fundamentals, bad. PCA, bad play in center field. Awful decision to bunt. Whoever's it was, all-time bad stuff in this game. This might be one of the worst losses of the year for the Cubs because of everything that went wrong in this game. And the fact that you didn't still had a chance to win this game honestly shows you the lineup is starting to figure it out a little bit and try to carry their weight. But there's a lot to get into. Your comments will be welcome into the show live here on YouTube as well, off the air at Joe George Radio on any social media platform. So let's start with Jameson Taillon here because he has given up 21 home runs this year. The Cubs have a pitching problem. There is a pitching problem. We saw Ben Brown get sent down to Iowa today. Porter Hodge is back. That was the right move to make, even though Porter Hodge has struggled in the minors. I'm not too worried about him. It's better than having Ben Brown on this roster. It makes sense with Shota Imanaga coming back on Thursday. But the reality is, it's like if you're going to go out there since Thursday last week and give up the amount of runs you've had, you're not going to win baseball games. The Cubs lineup has done plenty of their job to win most of these games. They're not the problem. The pitching is the problem. The offense scored 7 runs in this game. They're giving up so many home runs, all of these home runs in 2 games to a team that came in 24th in home runs hit this year. And Ben Brown and Jameson Taillon have gotten absolutely rocked. It is pitiful what the Cubs pitching staff has done and the bullpen over the weekend series against the Mariners, that last game versus the Brewers, and these first 2 games versus the Cardinals. It is bad. There is no other way to cut it. There's no more being nice. There's no more it's been good here and there. I don't care about Ben Brown and showing good moments and things like that, and Jameson Taillon has been good in chunks. Like, the amount of home runs this team has given up since last Thursday is absolutely terrible. It is unacceptable, and you are not going to win the division. You are not going to make the playoffs, and I'm not there yet. I'm not there. I know there are people that are there. I'm not there, but this pitching is a total and utter disaster for the Chicago Cubs. And this rumor that was put out there on The Score by Bruce Levine that the Cubs are going to make a deal in the next 7 to 10 days for a starting pitcher better be true, because yes, if Shota's coming back on Thursday, that's great. That's a huge win for the Cubs. You need more. You probably need 2 starting pitchers the way this season's gone. You've got Matthew Boyd, who has barely pitched over the last couple of years. He is going to be pushing his inning limit very quickly here, or whatever it is, or just more innings than he's ever pitched. You've got the young kid, Cade Horton, who has barely ever pitched 80 pitches in a game, who's going to burn past what he's ever done in the minors. That's going to be a problem in the long term. And then you've got all these guys who are going out there and just giving up nukes to teams. The Cardinals don't hit home runs, and they're going out there and they're just ripping the ball left and right against you and giving the offense no chance to help this team win the game. It has flipped 180. Like, you think about what this team was a couple weeks ago against the Rockies, right? That's a terrible baseball team. But the offense was awful in that series. It didn't matter. They found a way to win it because the pitching was good enough. All of that good stuff, all the good, juice and vibes that the pitching staff had given you has unraveled in the last 6 days. But this game tonight and the game yesterday, it's not just a pitching problem, because there has to be more to it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like a baseball expert. I'm a fan just like everybody else, right? I love the Cubs. I've been watching the Cubs my whole life, but they continue to just throw down balls right down the middle when there's guys on base, and they're just getting rocked. It's unbelievably bad what the pitching has done, and it is making it almost impossible to win these games. I don't know. Like someone says here in the chat that JMO was tipping pitches. Maybe. Are they all tipping pitches? Like, were they all tipping pitches to Cal Raleigh, the entire staff over the weekend, to have all of these things happen? And you lose this game 8-7. And honestly, it's not even the worst thing that happened in this game. Like, we're going to talk about what happened with Pete Crow-Armstrong here in a second, both moments of this game. But the pitching is just not good enough. And the number one thing, like that rumor again, it needs to be true. The Cubs, if they are going to act the way they're supposed to this year, are going to go all in, are going to acquire Kyle Tucker, are going to likely move on from him because they're not going to pay him. We all know that. No big deal. It's the reality of being a Cubs fan. But if you're going to do this, you have to put your chips in the middle and acquire starting pitching. And we've seen the urgency with teams like the Giants. The Cubs need to go out there and be aggressive. They need to add a starting pitcher very soon because these guys are just not good enough to carry it. They're not good on a consistent enough basis, to go out there day in and day out and get easy outs and get good outs and have opportunities where, like, it's not like the Cardinals are going out there. That's the thing that I think is the most worrisome is, and maybe it's the most like glass half full part of this is like, you're not being singled and doubled to death. Like, you're not just going out there and giving up all these hits to the Mariners and the Cardinals. I know one of the Mariners game was, but for the most part, like, you're giving up the long ball. But again, to a team that has not hit the long ball this entire season in the St. Louis Cardinals, they are getting rocked through these first two games. These next two games of this series are pivotal. They are huge games because you had played the best team in June in baseball in the Houston Astros this weekend. The Brewers have a joke of a schedule, and you have to win these division games. You need better pitching. You need tomorrow to go better. And you need Shota, who, even though he's probably going to be capped at like 80, 85 pitches on Thursday, like, you have to find a way to do it. This is a fair question here in the comments from Glenn here. Why trade prospects for a team that won't win at all? Well, it's not just about this year. Now, look, if the Cubs go out there at the deadline and they start trading away prospects for guys that are rentals, I'm not going to like that. They've already done that once with Cam Smith. I don't have a problem with the Kyle Tucker trade. Not going to revisit it. But I don't want to see them do that, two times here, let's say at the deadline. Acquire, let's say, a third baseman and a starting pitcher. Don't want that. Don't want rentals coming in to give up all your prospects. If you're going to be trading for guys, you want guys like Sandy Alcantara, who are under contract for 2 more years, who's been phenomenal the last month of the season. Like, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for guys that are under club control so that as your prospects continue to build and your ownership continues to be cheap, maybe you can actually build a winning roster on a consistent basis. That's all we're really asking for. Again, I'm not hitting the panic button about this team just yet, but this is brutal what has happened over the last couple days. It is all bad from the pitching staff. There is not really, and from the starters, like, there is the bullpen still has some bright lights. Like there are still guys in the bullpen who are going out there. They gave the Cubs a chance to win this game today after Jameson Taillon had his disaster performance. And after the break, we'll talk about what happened in center field and at the plate with Pete Crow-Armstrong. Because while this game to me is squarely on the shoulders of Jameson Taillon in the pitching, there's got to be like 30% that's on Pete Crow-Armstrong, unfortunately, with this game. So we'll get into that next here on the Locked On Cubs postcast on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis, and maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnMLB and use code LockedOnMLB to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnMLB and use promo code LockedOnMLB for 15% off. Individuals' results may vary with prescription treatment. Compound drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. Today's show is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center so you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. When we started using Monarch Money, we realized right away that we're just basically looking at our streaming packages. We found things that we were double paying for that we had absolutely no idea we were doing for a couple years now. We've been married for 5 years and we just figured that out. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. All right, Pete Crow-Armstrong. Let's talk about what happened in the game today. Two moments that are tough. There's really not a way to roll around that. Let's start with the one that I guess you can say was in the end the costly factor for the Cubs because it did allow the 8th run of the inning. So you've got a runner on second base with 1 out, and the ball is hit to deep center field, right at the wall. Pete Crow-Armstrong makes the catch. There's 2 outs in the inning, and PCA doesn't realize it. And the run scores from second base. They try to get the run in. That play is a disaster. That cannot happen. I cannot imagine what Craig Counsell is saying to him, what Justin Turner is saying to him, what Pete Crow-Armstrong is saying to himself when he looks in the mirror. That is a brutal play. It does not matter what age group you are. You see that happen. It's totally inexcusable, honestly, for a professional athlete, for a college athlete, anything. I mean, it's like when a football player drops the football before they cross the end zone, like the Deshaun Jackson play. Like those things cannot happen. And again, while I will not put this game on PCA, it is the run differentiator in this one. The Cubs lost 8-7. That was the 8th run of the game. That's a brutal play. That cannot happen. Now, look, I am confident in saying I don't think we'll see that happen again. I hope not. People make mistakes, as Seabass says here in the chat. We're human. PCA can't be perfect. I agree. We're human. But that play cannot happen. Now, there's people here in the comment and the chat saying, sit him tomorrow. To be honest with you, I don't know what the Cubs will do. I'm kind of 50-50 on that, to be honest. I think if you do it, you have to do it every time. We've seen this happen with, like, the Atlanta Braves had this issue earlier with Acuna, who didn't run to first base one time, but could have been safe. And then they benched him for the rest of the game. They didn't just do it to someone else. He made a comment on social media, kind of turns into a disaster. So if you're going to do that, Craig Counsell has to make that statement for everyone forever. So very, very bad play. I wouldn't sit him. I think you learned your lesson in the moment. To me, like, it's, people make mistakes again. I think you learned your lesson with how embarrassed he should be, honestly, for that play. But to be honest, it's not the thing that pisses me off the most about Pete Crow-Armstrong in this game. You've got runners on in a one-run game, and you bunt. I mean, it is Kyle Tucker walks, 1 out. Seiya Suzuki hits a rocket down the third baseline. It's first and third with run out. And Pete Crow-Armstrong bunts. Why? Why are you bunting? Well, like, who's calling it? I want to know. Like, someone's got to ask at some point, because no one's asking. No one's asking Craig Counsell this question. Someone's got to ask. Like, is Pete Crow-Armstrong, the couple times we've seen him bunt this year, is he doing that on his own accord, or is someone else doing it? Now, if you listen to the broadcast, if you listen to the television broadcast, they point out that he's staring at the third base coach, who then whispers something to Kyle Tucker. My inclination is that's coming from the coaching staff, which is a terrible decision. It's a terrible decision, honestly, no matter who called it. So based on the eye contact happening at third base with PCA, I'm assuming that that's coming from the dugout to bunt in that situation. But why? Why are you doing that? Like, he's got 21 home runs on the year, even if he's scuffling. We have seen Pete Crow-Armstrong so consistently hit a ground ball to the second baseman. They throw it to second base. They get the second out of the inning, but he's so fast, he beats it out. Like, this isn't some guy who's slow as molasses. It's the fastest player in baseball, basically. And I get it. Maybe that's why you're bunting. But Kyle Tucker's not that fast. And Kyle Tucker wisely puts on the brakes, doesn't go for home because the bunt's terrible. The bunt goes right in front of the mound and it does nothing. I hate that play. I despise it. I do not like it. I never will. It's like that is the worst player to do that. Dansby Swanson can do that, right? He stinks right now with runners in scoring position. The Cubs had a chance to win this game multiple times after the disaster start from Jameson Taillon. And the lineup, in the end, still also didn't come through. But to have PCA make that bunt there is just a terrible, terrible decision. I mean, this is a guy who is MVP caliber this season, 21 home runs, and you're having him bunt. I just do not understand that decision. So, again, I don't know who directly to blame for that one. I'm going to be honest. I think it's Craig Counsell's call at that point. I don't understand why PCA, of all people, himself, would think I'm going to bunt in this situation. Nearly makes up for it there in the ninth inning with the hit that made it again first and third before Dansby Swanson grounded out when it was second and third. But bad baseball game. Bad baseball game. And the Cubs division lead is down to 2.5 games. The offense is doing plenty to win these games. And the pitching staff is just not holding up their end of the bargain. That's just the reality of the situation. Again, the number one thing the Cubs can do right now is act with urgency. If Jed Hoyer and these teams are out, and these guys from this team are out there in the media the way they are and talking about how much they believe and how much they like what they're seeing, show me with your actions and let me see what happened there, because I would very much like to see a new starting pitcher or two on this team by July 31st. And one of them I would like to see on this team within the next 10 days, because they need to be aggressive, because they need pitching help. They absolutely do. And Dansby Swanson needs to move down in the order. Just do it. Like move Dansby down. I'm all there. I'm all in on that too. I don't know why he's batting in the spot he is. Move Nico Hoerner up. If you don't want PCA Bush to go back-to-back lefty, that's fine. Totally get it. Makes sense. But move Nico up. Move Dansby down, because even, the guys at the top, for the most part, are setting the table. Between Happ, Tucker, Suzuki, PCA, they're setting the table. Dansby Swanson is just not getting it done offensively for this team. And the Cubs need to go out there and move him down in the order. If the bat's going to be what it is, it is what it is. He's not leaving this team, but you got to move him up, move Nico up if you're going to have it in that situation. And again, I think, the reports about also the Cubs being interested in adding a third baseman are interesting. I think there was a lot of, kind of reference to, without naming them, the Arizona Diamondbacks, which unfortunately might have changed a little bit with Suarez getting hit in the hand the other day. But the fact that they were in on Devers potentially, or at least called on Devers, also makes me believe that the Cubs may be willing to go out and acquire a third baseman at the deadline. A third baseman that can bat fifth in the order specifically, and a starting pitcher. If that's what you get at the deadline, I'd rather two pitchers. But if you can get a third baseman who can bat fifth and move Dansby Swanson down, I'm fine with that too. But it's just the Cubs need to act with urgency. I'm not there panicking yet. Might sound like it today. More just angry with what we're watching right now. Don't enjoy what we're seeing from the Cubs pitching staff. So that will do it for us here on the Locked on Cubs postcast. We'll be back tomorrow after hopefully a Cubs victory. Matt and Sam will have their show coming up here in just a little bit as well. We'll be here all weekend long. I'll be off on Friday. I think Matt and Sam will be filling in. Matt or Sam will be filling in for me on Friday night, because I'll be at the Cubs game on Friday night. So thanks for watching. Be back with you tomorrow here on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to our YouTube channel and anywhere you get your podcast, Apple and Spotify. Thanks for watching.